episode 21, I think, of the SuviKnits podcast. I'm doing this without notes today. It's a bit of an off-the-cuff recording, so hopefully I don't forget too much. My name's Hayley, and I'm coming to you from beautiful Ballarat in Victoria, Australia, on the land of the Wadawurrung people, who I am so grateful for their ongoing custodianship of the land, skies and waterways that I'm so privileged to share with them. It's a beautiful autumn day here. Autumn in this part of the world is my favourite time of year. It's got gorgeous light, we've got the leaves, the weather's beautiful, chilly mornings, warm days. So yeah, it's a great day to be alive. For those of you who are new to my podcast, I'm a knitter and a sewist, and just generally I love to make things and tell you all about it. So welcome. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. Thank you. Anyway, I got a little bit off track there. So I've got a few works in progress that I want to show you today, and I've also got some, we'll say acquisitions, but there was some yarn gifted to me for my birthday earlier this month, so I'll show you some of that. But mostly I just wanted to pop in and say hi and give you an update on how things are going in my world. So I'll start with my works in progress, just because that's the normal way I do things. Oh, I did forget. If you want to find me in other places other than YouTube, you can check my Instagram at lumi.knits, all lowercase, or on Ravelry at lumiknitsau for Australia, also all lowercase. I'm not great at keeping either of those platforms updated, but every now and then I will remember to do that, and there'll be stuff there. So moving right along, I will start with my GoGo Dynamo shawl that I've been working on since October last year. Because it's so technique driven, I haven't been really fantastic at doing it, I suppose, because it requires a lot of concentration, and I've got 2 small children and limited time. Well, they're not really small anymore. School-age children. I've got 2 school-age children. So I've got limited time, and sitting down and concentrating on something is not really happening a lot for me at the moment. And I do have other projects that are requiring all my focus. So the GoGo Dynamo is kind of a languishing whip. I just pick it up when the mood takes me. So I think last time I showed this, I was not finished clue 2. I was still working on the bumps, dimples, whatever. But it's coming out so beautifully, and I love the brioche in it. And I have just started clue 3. I've gotten the first short row wedge done, and I'm just about to do the next one in my contrast color. I'm knitting this in Circus Tonic Handmade yarn. This was one of their kits. One of the yarns, the yellow, is called Golden Hour, and I don't remember the name of the purple. And the red that I've thrown in there as my non-Mohair Dare is a Daffodil Road yarn, and that's just, the colorway was Burgundy. But you can see it's coming up so nicely, and I really do love this pattern, and it is something that I will finish. I just haven't finished it yet. So hopefully next time I pop in, I can give you a little bit more of an update on this, and hopefully I've made some more progress. But as I said, I've got other more pressing concentration whips than this one. I feel like I'm flying through, so I'll try and slow down and give you more detail. I just didn't have a lot to say about that one. This is an exciting one. This is the Handmade Sock Society Sock 1, the first mystery sock. And I think it's called the Flourish Sock by Helen Stewart. So I've done the Handmade Sock Society once before, and I think I knit 3 of the 6 patterns, and then I got, sidetracked by other things, as you do when you're a creative person. And so I was really excited to do the Handmade Sock Society this year. It's number 6, and 6 is my favorite number, so it seemed like a good thing for me to do. I had ordered some yarn from Yarns by the Bay, and this colorway is called Tarnished Silver, and it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. So I'm not finished the first sock yet. I've just done the heel, but I will show you what I have done. Oh, that's not helpful. There we go. So I did a couple of extra pattern repeats in the leg because I decided not to do the heel flap and gusset. It's not my favorite sock heel. So I did 2 extra repeats in the leg so that I could do a fish lips kiss heel, which has come out well. I did make a little mistake in the fish lips kiss heel and had to pull it back, and then I dropped some stitches and it was a bit of a disaster, but it was a kind of great disaster because it gave me a lot more insight into how the construction of the heel actually works. I've memorized the process of doing it, but I didn't really deeply understand the actual heel itself. So ripping it back and trying to rebuild just that section of the heel gave me a really good insight into how the thing works, which is important, right? Like it's good to understand why something works and how it works. So I found that really interesting, and now I'm just working on the leg rows, but absolutely loving this pattern. It's easily memorized. It's very pretty. There's lots of stockinette on the back. Whoops. Lots of stockinette on the back to break things up, and then just the beautiful lace pattern on the front. I'm really liking these knots on the edges. Pardon my nails. I didn't really like them when I looked at the pattern or like at the pattern pictures, but in the actual work, I feel like they're coming up really beautifully. Let's see if I can get it a bit clearer. So the knots are the ones down here, and I think they look really nice. So I think that's a technique that I might build into some of my own design when I do, because I often make socks for my father and uncle and brother and husband and pretty much anyone. And I do them, I sort of design them myself with just a basic vanilla sock pattern, and I throw in some kind of detail to make it interesting for me. And I think the knots will look really nice in a men's sock. I was even thinking about in a women's sock doing the knots just down the middle back so it joins into the top of the heel. But, you know, I'll mess around with that when I'm not committed to doing these socks. I was hoping to get these finished by the end of May. I got a little bit of extra knitting time in because my daughter fractured her wrist, which is not funny, but it's funny because I was able to knit while we were at the hospital waiting for her to get x-rays and things like that. And she's just started knitting herself. So she's a bit devastated because she can't knit at the moment because she has her arm in a splint. And so she just doesn't have the dexterity yet to be able to work with that in her knitting. And also too, the yarn that I've given her is no good for what she's doing. It's very splitty and it's making it difficult. So I think when she gets her splint off, we will go and choose some better yarn and she can pick the color and that kind of thing. So that was a little bit of an aside. I still am hoping to finish these by the end of May. I've got a better understanding now of the pattern. I kept losing 2 stitches in this pattern, and I think I was forgetting to do a yarn over and then a knit somewhere along the line. And so I kept having to pull back to the point where I lost them. So it has taken a bit longer than what it normally would have, but I'm getting into the rhythm of it, and I'm starting to make sure that I'm counting in the sections where it requires that little bit of extra attention. So anyway, loving these socks, the Flourish socks by Helen Stewart. I'll put all the information for the things that I'm knitting in the notes below, but I always like to repeat it a few times just to remind myself and cement it in there, I suppose. So yeah, they've been lovely and the yarn's beautiful. I made a project bag for the Handmade Sock Society for. I went looking for a fabric that would complement the colour of the first sock, which is the tarnished silver, and I wanted to get something secondhand, so I went and looked in op shops and things like that, thrift shops, for pillowcases, and I found this one, which is a really beautiful match for the colour. Sorry, I'm jumping up and down with things here. So it's a really great match for the colour of the yarn itself. The contrast colours I chose were also just out of stash. I think the pink was a doona cover, like, you know how they put bed linen in bags now instead of in plastic, which is great. So this was one of those bags. I use that for the contrast color, and the purple is some linen that I picked up at an op shop years and years ago. And this is just my standard go-to project bag pattern. It's the Kato bag. Kato? Yes, the Kato. The pattern's up on the wall. It's the Kato bag by Can Do Crafts. This is the small size, which is perfect for socks. And I don't bother putting in the pockets or anything like that because I don't use them and it's just extra work. But it could almost be reversible. I've done a very nice job of finishing the bottom. So this could almost be a reversible bag if I wanted to, but I really do love this cute floral pattern on the outside. It goes great with my project, and I think that it will go great with the colours that I've got for the rest of the Handmade Sock Society, which I'll show you shortly when I get to the acquisitions section. I still do have 2 more whips that I want to show. Oh, that's it there. I still do want to show you 2 more whips that I'm working on. One of them is very boring because this is a gift knit, and I'm not going to say who it's for in case she's watching, but I don't think she will be. So I'm not going to say, but I'm going to show you. So I've just started this this sweater for someone special in my life for their birthday. It is the Drizzle Sweater by SuviKnits. The Drizzle Sweater by SuviKnits. So it's a raglan sweater with a cable detail in the front. I was thinking about doing an all over cable, but I decided against that for reasons that you will discover soon. And I'm just doing a ribbed folded collar. I had to go down a needle size to get gauge and then down further for the ribbing. So I'm working on what feels like tiny needles, 3.25 millimeter needles in this 8-ply DK weight yarn from Bendigo Woolen Mills. This is the Bendigo Woolen Mills Rustic Tweed in the colorway linen. I've used Bendigo Woolen Mills Rustic wool before, yarn, wool, whatever. I've used it before and I've absolutely loved it. And I've also used their tweed before and loved it. And so when I saw that there was rustic tweed, I got a little bit excited. It smells so sheepy. It's 100% wool. It will be a hand wash garment, which is not ideal for this person, but I really wanted to give them something like an heirloom piece, I suppose, because it's for a big birthday. So I'm excited to be working with this. I'm so looking forward to getting onto some bigger needles, but I think I still have probably this again to knit before I can fold over the collar and get going. I can't remember what size it is. I don't think it really matters. I've got wool tickling my nose now. But something that I've discovered with ribbing, and I'm doing it in all my ribbing now, is the short purl stitch, where instead of wrapping your yarn over the top of the purl stitch and pulling it through, you wrap it underneath. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not surprised because that was a very vague description. But what it does is it makes your purl stitch kind of smaller because there's not as much yarn going around the actual stitch, and it just gives this really neat ribbing, like much neater than I was doing with a regular purl stitch. I'll see if I can link a video or something so that it explains that short purl stitch a bit better. But it's been a game changer in my socks. I've got a creaky chair. In my socks, like anywhere I do ribbing, I always do a short purl now. I was doing a twisted rib where you knit through the back loop of the knit stitch, but I found it really defined and I just didn't like it as much as I like the short purl. So the short purl is my absolute go-to for ribbing now. And give it a try. You might like it, you might not. Either way, it's up to you. That project is also in a project bag that I made myself. Again, it's the same pattern, the Kato project bag, and this is just from my local quilting store, and I love this fabric so much. It's so pretty. It's called, the quilting store is called Gail's Patchwork Emporium, and it's this most amazing, like almost palatial house that it's blue stone and gorgeous, and it's been fitted out as a quilting store. So they've got heaps of beautiful fabrics and notions and everything. But anyway, that's if you're curious about that, the fabric, That's from Gail's Patchwork Emporium. The light's playing funny with me. I think it's going to get dark in a second, so hopefully it doesn't affect the video quality too much. But then again, my last video had horrible lighting, so you know, how bad can it be? This is where I am, this is what it's like, so that's just what we roll with. My final work in progress, and this one's very exciting because I feel like I'm actually starting to make some progress here, is my Emery Vest / pullover. I haven't decided if it's going to be a vest or a pullover. And I'll put this down. I have finally joined the body. So I did the back and then the front, and now I've joined the body, and it just, it's so pretty. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of keeping track of charts. So there's technically 5, but really 3 charts that you're using, because the cable left, like the cable left and the cable right are essentially just a cable. Excuse me. So it's not really, you know, crazy stuff. And then there's a diamond pattern A and B, but the only difference between them is the directional cross at the bottom. So they're really pretty much the same pattern. There's only one row that differs. Anyway, so it's long story short, it's really 3 charts that you're keeping track of, and you're at different places in the charts as you go through. So this has taken me a really long time. It's in a very thick yarn. It's going to be extremely warm. And I do have some concerns that it's going to be too big, because this is the armhole stretched out. This one's bunched up, and I can't really show you because of the needles, but I feel like it's going to be too big, in which case it will have to be a pullover instead of a vest, because I cannot handle an oversized vest, but I can handle an oversized pullover. I should have plenty of yarn, because this is what I'm working with. It's almost as big as my head. This was the yarn that I frogged from my Felix cardigan that I made, and just didn't like the fit of. And it's been waiting and waiting and waiting for the right project to come along, and then the right project came along. So I'm super excited about this vest. Vests seem like they're having a moment. By the time I'm finished, they probably won't be having a moment anymore, but that's okay, because I'll still like it. They're the diamonds, and then we've got the 2 cables either side, and then the center plait. And I think it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be extremely warm. So I'd love to have it done for this winter, but it's mid-May, so I don't like my chances. But anyway, this is the project that's taking up all my concentration, because it does require that following of the patterns and the charts. Now that I'm on to being able to work in the round, I'm hoping it will be a bit easier and a bit more intuitive, because I was working back and forth. I had to keep track of every row, but I think maybe now I've got enough of an understanding of the pattern to be able to, you know, not have to be so vigilant in my marking of the rows and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's going really well. So they're my 4 main whips. I do have a couple of others. I had the Louise pullover, which is the bobble pullover, which is less far along than it was the last time I showed you, and that's because I forgot where I was up to and I had to rip back to the neck. So I haven't even folded over the neckband, but that's on hold until I've completed at least one of my big sweater projects. And the other one is my daughter's poncho, which is just not fun. Sorry, Edie. It is just not enjoyable for me. So it's one of those ones that I'll pick up and knit a couple of rows out of obligation once a week or so. But yeah, that's not happening in a hurry. I think maybe at some point I'm just going to do a big push and try and get it finished. Do a bit of a blitz, which I'm known to do, and try and get it finished just so I don't have to think about it anymore. It's not something that I can really frog, because she'll cry and I don't want her to cry. Yeah, so that's still in the background, and I obviously have got a pair of the notorious 2x2 rib socks that I've been working on for years, that are the thing that I go to when I am desperate and I have absolutely nothing else to knit on. So that's 6 whips. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't think I've got anything else pressing in the back of my mind other than doing these Handmade Sock Society socks. So I'm going to pause there because my throat is so tickly, and then I'm going to come back and show you my birthday acquisitions. Hey, I'm back. That feels much better. My throat isn't so tickly anymore. Still a little tickly, but not so bad. Okay, so my birthday was in the first week of May. And I love being a May baby because this is my favorite season. The only thing I don't love about my birthday is that it's really close to Mother's Day, and that makes things, a bit more stressy for my family because they want to do birthday things, but they also want to do Mother's Day things. So I don't really want to cause anyone stress. So yeah, it's not my favorite time. I wish they'd move Mother's Day. If they move Mother's Day, that would be fantastic, because then I could just enjoy my birthday in the month that I love and then do Mother's Day another time. But I've come to realize the world does not revolve around my wants and needs. So I guess it'll just stay as it is and we'll make the best of it. I had a really fantastic birthday and Mother's Day this year. My birthday was on the Tuesday and Mother's Day was on the Sunday. And it was pretty low key. We just, did the normal birthday stuff. We went out for dinner and I got a few little presents, and Mother's Day was great. We went for a bike ride along a rail trail up near Trentham, which was gorgeous. We'd never ridden there before. We just had a picnic lunch, so really nice times. Anyway, I digress. I wanted to show you some of the yarn I got for my birthday. My son chose this yarn, and this is a Fiore yarn, and it's a gradient, so it goes from dark to light or light to dark depending on where you start, I suppose. I had to look this up because when I saw it I thought it was a variegated, but it's not. It's a fingering weight. Colorway is Blooming Forest. So I think this will make a really pretty pair of socks, and I'm thinking that this would be great for vanilla socks because I want the color to speak for itself. It's very soft and squishy. It's really nice to touch. So I'm excited to use this. And the other yarn that I got was the rest of my order from Yarns by the Bay. I don't think I showed this in the last podcast because we'd put it aside so the kids could give it to me on my birthday. But I got 3 more. I thought I only got 2 more, but I got 3 more skeins. And they're very predictable. The colorways are very predictable because I chose them myself. This one's called Bumblebee, and it's in the sort of pinky, purpley, yellowy sunset colors that I love so much. So I'm excited to use this one. It'll be socks. I think it's a pretty safe bet that all of these will be socks. The next one is called Aztec Gold, and it's this super bright, gorgeous yellow. Not a lot of variation in it, but it's also not flat. I think the color's coming up probably more orangey than what it is in real life. It's very much a true yellow. Yeah, but that's going to be one of the Handmade Sock Society socks. Don't know if it's really going to go with the project bag, but it's not too bad. And it doesn't matter. And the final one I got was this beautiful burgundy color. This colorway is called Rhubarb. What a great name. Yep, beautiful burgundy, lots of sort of tonal variation in there, but yeah, really excited to use this one. So they were, was that all of them? Yes, because I've got Bumblebee there. They were the yarns that came from Yarns by the Bay for my birthday that I plan on using in the Handmade Sock Society patterns. And then I also have this one that I picked up at Maker in Melbourne. I went up there to get a haircut and I called in to Maker because I hadn't been there before. And I was hoping that they would have the liner book, the 52 Weeks of Scraps book that I could pick up, but they didn't have any. But their yarn, they have so much beautiful yarn. It took me forever, I was in there for probably an hour just looking, and I wanted to choose something, just as a little memento, I suppose. And I came across this this yarn by Prosper Yarns. It's a fingering weight. All these have been fingering weight sock yarns, and the colorway is called Taliesin. Tellison. I'll put it in the show notes. And it's this gorgeous greeny, like very lush, foresty colour. So I can't wait to make socks out of this. So I'm going to try and let the yarn lead the way with the Handmade Sock Society patterns and see when the pattern comes out which yarn it kind of lends itself to the most. And oh look, it's a pretty good match. Yay. I love it. And just see which yarn lends itself to which pattern and really be led by that. So it's very exciting. I've got a lot of great knitting coming up. I also have to go and get the tickets for the Bendigo Australian Sheep and Wool Show in Bendigo. Every year I take Mum and we go up and have a really nice day. We go to Bendigo Woolen Mills and have a poke around there, and then we go to the Sheep and Wool Show, and it's one of the fun things that we do together. It's probably our yearly tradition. That's Mum's Mother's Day present. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. So I have to go get tickets. And I think that's about all. This has been a decent length. I thought that I was going to be done in 10 minutes, but no, not today. Lots to talk about. Everything else is just ticking along. I read a really great book the other day. Well, it took me about 5 days. I was reading it at every opportunity, like stirring spaghetti sauce, reading before bed, reading, wake up, reading. It was called Wayward by Amelia Hart. And it was just, a real joy to read. So I'm not really good at describing genre or plot or anything like that. It was just a really great book. I usually love whodunits and sort of mystery and crime novels. Nothing gory, but I like mystery stuff. But this one wasn't really a mystery. It was more like one of those books where histories merge with each other to make a narrative, I suppose, and tell a story of a family. And it was a really, really enjoyable book, and recommend it if you're looking for something to read. If you like hard sci-fi or anything like that, it's probably not up your alley, but maybe check it out. I don't know. I've lost it now. That means it's time for me to stop talking. So wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a wonderful day. And I will see you next time.